अथाय सीताये पटये नमः। ॐ मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमातं वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूतमूकं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसि नमामि। ॐ शान्ति 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 हरि ओम। बैठिए, resume your seats as we engage now in our glorification of Ganesh Bhagwan, Ganesh Vandana. We all join together.
Jai Ganapati Gajavadana Vinayak, Jai Ganapati Gajavadana Vinayak, Mahavira Muramangal Dayak, Jai Ganapati Gajavadana Vinayak, Jai Ganapati Gajavadana Vinayak. Vidyapati Vachaspati Gyani,
Vidyapati Vachaspati Gyani,
Vidyapati Vachaspati Gyani,
Vidyapati Vachaspati Gyani,
Neyalutaye Shambhu Bhavani,
Nehalutaye Shambhu Bhavani,
Sadadar Shreepati Sukhdayak, Jai Ganapati Gajavadana Vinayak, Jai Ganapati Gajavadana Vinayak. हे मोदक प्रिय मूषक वाहन,
मोदक प्रिय मूषक वाहन,
हे मोदक प्रिय मूषक वाहन,
मोदक प्रिय मूषक वाहन,
करते हम तेरा आवाहन,
करते हम तेरा
छल भक्ति दो विधि निर्णायक जय गणपति गज वदन विनायक जय गणपति गज वदन विनायक महावीर मुर मंगलदायक जय गणपति गज वदन विनायक जय गणपति गज वदन विनायक जय गणपति गज वदन विनायक
Reams बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय. We join together now as we render those most powerful verses of Hanuman Chalisa. As we sing together, as we glorify the name of Mahavir Swami, I invite you all to join together with members of the group as we engage in this wonderful glorification of Mahavir Swami.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुखर सुधार वरनो रघुवर विमल जसु जोदायक फल चार बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरऊ कलेश विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर कबीर तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल रामा
अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा
महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी
कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी
कंचन वरन विराज सुवेशा
कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा
हाथ ब्रज और ध्वजा विराजे
कान्हे मूंज जनेऊ साजे
शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन
तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन
विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर
राम काज करिबे को आतुर
प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया
राम लखन सीता मन बसिया
स्वरूप धरि सियहि दिखावा
विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा
भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे
रामचंद्र के काज सवारे
लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए
श्री रघुवीर हर्ष उर लाए
रघुपति दीनी बहुत बड़ाई
तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई
सहस बदन तुमरो यश गावे
अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे
सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीषा
नारद शारद सहित अहिसा
यम कुबेर दिक्पाल जाति
कवि को विधि कहि सके कहाते
तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना
राम मिलाय राज पर दीन्हा
तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना
लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना
युग सहस्र योजन परवानु
प्रियो ताहि मधुर पल जानू
प्रभु मोद्रिका मिले मुख माई
जलधि लांघ गए अचरज नाही
दुर्गम काज जगत के जे
अनुग्रह तुम्हारे देते।
राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे,
ओढ़ न आज्ञा बिन पैसारे।
सब सुख लगे तुम्हारी सरना,
तुम रक्षक का हो को डरना।
आपन तेज समारो आपे,
तीनों लोग हाँकते कांपे।
भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे,
महावीर जब नाम सुनावे।
नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा,
जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा।
संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे,
मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे।
सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा,
जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा।
और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे,
सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे।
चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा,
है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा।
साधु संत के तुम रखवारे,
असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे।
अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता,
असवर दीन जानकी माता।
राम रसायन तुमरे पासा,
सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा।
तुमरे भजन राम को भावे,
जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे।
अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई,
जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई।
और देवता चेतन धरहि,
हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई।
संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा,
जो सुमिरै हनुमत बलवीरा।
जय जय हनुमान गोसाई,
कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई।
जो शत बार पात कर खोई,
छूत ही बंध महासुख होई।
जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा,
होई सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा।
तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा,
ही जयनाथ हृदय महदेरा।
पवन तनय संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप, राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसो सुखभूप। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
प्रेम से बोले श्री महावीर स्वामी की जय. At this juncture, devotees, brothers and sisters, we'll ask the children to move across quietly to the Bal Vihar class. All of the teachers who are here, please move across quietly with the children to the Bal Vihar class. So as they ready themselves to do that, permit me at this juncture to introduce this morning's speaker. And this morning, as you know, we fall within the month that has been designated as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And there have been many articles that have been appearing. There have been many bits of information. And as we've been doing in the past, the Mandir gears itself not only to the non-secular, but also to secular topics. And this is one of them. Last time around when we were able to, we had someone who was a breast cancer survivor speaking to us, Mrs. Sirju. And this morning we have a very young professional who is developing his expertise and experience and who's been with us some time before and has spoken to us on various topics in a very clear and in a very meaningful way. And this morning, he will share with us a presentation that he has given quite recently in an open forum. And I would like to invite to the podium at this juncture, please welcome him with a round of applause, Dr. Mitra Maharaj, sharing with us the presentation.
Sitaram devotees. Right. So as Panarudi said, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we're here to talk a little bit about breast cancer and some things to look out for, and how to detect the early signs, essentially, of breast cancer. Right. Right, so what we're going to talk about here this morning would be, move this here a little bit so I could just, right. What is breast cancer? Some of the signs and symptoms, some of the risk factors that put you at a higher risk of having breast cancer, how to reduce that risk, what is the screening, and we just touched very, very smallly on the diagnosis and treatment. Right, as usual, I usually start with my normal disclaimer. I am not a specialist in this field whatsoever. Everything here that we speak about is not to differ from any advice from your physician. Right? So what is normal? So the first thing you need to know about anything in medicine is what is normal. And that way you know what is abnormal. I don't like how I'm not seeing the presentation. Anyways, so the first thing to know is no pair of breasts are typical. There's not a typical anatomy to any one individual, woman or man, right? Everyone is different. What is normal for you may not be normal for someone else. Now, the way, even within your own self, the way your breasts look and feel can change from time to time. These things might happen when you get your menstrual cycle, having children, losing or gaining weight, and of course, as you age, right? And these things are normal. And as you grow older or as you get accustomed to yourself, you will realize what is your normal. And that is the main thing, what is your normal. So what is breast cancer? Breast cancer is where, it's a type of cancer, obviously. It's where cells in the tissue of the breast mutate and proliferate or grow. That mutation grows out of control and it forms what we call a tumor, right? Now, breast cancer is not only in women, but men can also get breast cancer as well. It's a very, very small percentage of men, but it is very possible. And it is the most common cancer in women in Trinidad and Tobago. In the developed nations like the United States and UK, it is the second most common in women. So it's a very, very, very important topic, something that every woman, young and old, should be aware about. So this diagram here just shows you what is normal for the male and what is normal for the female. As you can see from it, everyone has lymph nodes. Everyone has a nipple and the areola area, which is just the darker pigmented area around the nipple, right? The main differences with the female and the male is just that the female has more fatty tissue and the female has the ability to produce milk. That's the main differences, not the only differences, all right? So, signs and symptoms, what you can look out for to know that you may have something suspicious. It may not be breast cancer, but something suspicious that you want to get checked out, right? What you can look out for. So the most common one is breast lumps, right? This can be in the breast itself or under the forearms, right? We can look out for swelling or thickening of the skin itself, change in size, shape, appearance of the breasts, changes to the skin such as dimpling, an inverted nipple, and then the peeling or scaling of the skin, right? Just a couple of things to look out for, right? The next one that we talk about is redness, so the pitting of the skin. Think about how an orange or a Portugal skin looks, Obviously, if you're seeing that around your breast, you know that's not normal, right? The abnormal nipple discharge. So some nipple discharge are normal, some discharges are normal, and you would know this as you go along. What is normal for you, sometimes during the cycle, and these types of things. But abnormal nipple discharges should raise a red flag. Pain, that is out of the ordinary. Obviously, if you hit it and it's painful, that is not out of the ordinary. Right? Swollen lymph nodes under the arms, and of course, asymptomatic. Right? Sometimes absolutely no symptoms at all. And that's where screening comes into play, and that's where screening becomes important. Right? The little note that you can't see there because video is in it, is to say that keep in mind that, there we go. Keep in mind that these symptoms are not only related to breast cancer, right? These symptoms could be something very, very benign, right? But once you see these symptoms, it should raise a red flag. Hey, I need to see my doctor. Check it out. If it's not breast cancer, obviously, we're okay. But if it is, and you pick it up early, that's where you want to get there. So what increases your risk? Obviously, being female over male, increasing in age, personal history of breast cancer. So if you had a history of breast cancer in one breast and that one is treated, you are at risk of getting breast cancer in the other, right? Family history, so a first degree relative, whether it be mom, sister, grandmother, puts you at higher risk of getting breast cancer, right? And that way you inherit the genes, right? We all hear about the BRCA gene, right? It's something thrown about all over, BRCA, right? If it is you know any family member of yours that has this BRCA gene, you should definitely be screened for it, right? Because that puts you at the highest risk of developing breast cancer. Doesn't mean that you will, but it increases your risk of getting breast cancer. Radiation exposure, especially as a child. Obesity as well, right? Next major thing that we have in Trinidad and Tobago, right? Persons who begin having their period before the ages of 12, and persons who go into menopause after the age of 55, right? These things expose your body to more estrogen, and the more estrogen your body is exposed to, the higher the risk of developing breast cancer. Right? Having your first child older than the age of 30 as well. Having never been pregnant, so someone who has never been pregnant will also be exposed to more estrogen than someone who has been. Someone who goes on to postmenopausal hormonal therapy, and then smoking and consuming alcohol. That increases your risk of everything. Right. So how could you reduce your risk, right? What are the modifiable risk factors that you can take charge of and you can do? If you inherit the genes, you can't do anything about that, right? So breast cancer screening, right? We'll touch a little bit more about that one because that's very important. And the other thing we'll talk about is the self-examinations, right? But outside of that, avoiding or limiting the alcohol use. There's nobody here, right? Exercise, limit the if you have to go on postmenopausal hormonal therapy, limit the use of it. All right, maintaining a healthy weight, healthy diet, and those are the things that you can take control of, you can take charge of, and reduce your risk of developing breast cancer. So we'll talk about what is screening. Right now, screening is a very important topic in breast cancer and something that everybody here should be aware of. Right? And what it means for you, what it means for your family, what it means for the women or men in your life. So what is screening, right? Screening is checking your breasts for any signs, checking your breast before any signs or symptoms develop. If you have any sign or symptom and you go to check it out, that is not screening, that is investigation. Screening is getting it checked out before you develop any signs or symptoms, right? And that's very, very important. The next thing to note is screening does not prevent you from developing breast cancer, but the main thing is that early detection. You pick it up early enough, you can get it treated, And the success of treatment hinges upon that early detection. So when do you need to start screening? When do you need to start thinking about, hey, I need to start screening? So this long table here is what the doctors will know about. You all don't need to look into this table. But I put it there to show you all that there are 7 bodies internationally that put out guidelines on when and who to screen. Each differ slightly in what they say. So sometimes you might go to one doctor, he might tell you something differently from another doctor. It just may be because he follows one of these 7 and someone else follows another one of these 7. Neither is, thank you. Neither is totally wrong, right? They are all international bodies. They are all based on research, and they are all for the best, you know. So I will summarize it very, very shortly for you guys, right? So when do you need to start screening? What they did is they broke it up into persons who are at average risk, the average woman off the street, and those who are at high risk, right? So the persons who are at average risk. So that would be persons who don't have any of the risk factors that we spoke about earlier. Then they went on to stratify it based on age. So if you are average risk, you are between the ages of 40 and 49, what they say is that decision should be made between you and your doctor. If you want to start screening, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. There's no proven benefit of starting to screen between the ages of 40 to 49. Right? Remember, this is persons at average risk, right? For persons between the ages of 50 to 74, this is the ages here. Who is between 50 and 74 here? How much of you all start screening already? Lovely. I'm seeing some hands in the audience. Right, so this is the age between the ages of 50 and 74 where you need to start getting either a yearly, and some guidelines say every 2 years. So every year or every 2 years, depending on which guideline you follow. Right? Above the ages of 75. This is where, in this age range, again, it's patient dependent and with a discussion based on your physician. Right? The guidelines does say that over the age of 75, the benefit of screening over the age of 75 is not really there anymore, and there's not enough evidence to suggest that there is that benefit over the age of 75. Right, so all of you who raise your hand at 50 to 74, this is where we're at. Right, so the persons who are high risk, persons who develop who inherit the BRCA gene, persons who has a first degree relative with breast cancer, all these persons tend to be high risk, right? What they say for those persons, again, each guidelines differ, and what they essentially say is that those at high risk need to see their doctor, they need to see their physician, and a plan needs to be set out. The guidelines for persons at high risk is very, very detailed, and it didn't make sense for me to go through all that here today, right? But those persons who know that they are high risk, meaning that they have a first degree relative with breast cancer, or for some reason went to do some kind of genetic screening and realized they have the BRCA gene, those persons need to see a physician, whether it be a breast cancer specialist or a general surgeon, and have that discussion with them when you need to start screening and what is your best management and what's your best screening. Now, internationally, for persons who are at high risk, and this is guideline based, women at high risk internationally do have double mastectomies without any signs and symptoms, meaning taking off both breasts without any signs and symptoms of breast cancer. This is guideline based as well. So how to perform a self-examination? It is not this type of examination on the screen, it is on yourself. So it's very simple. Anyone can do it. You can YouTube it. You can Google it. It's very, very simple. I'll just talk about it very, very briefly here. So if you're using these 3 fingers, right? Well, for the examination part. But the first part is inspection. First part, you stand up in front of the mirror and you inspect. You need to know what is your normal, right? And there's a point to drive home here today. You need to know what is your normal, right? Inspect, look at the boat, look at under the arms, see if you are having any signs or symptoms yourself. If you are not seeing anything, you then go on to what we call palpation or feeling, right? Using these 3 fingers, right? The first thing you do, actually I didn't go through the inspection with you. So the inspection is hands at the side, watching the mirror, hands up, watching the mirror, hands on the waist, watching the mirror, and then you turn to the side and you watch the mirror, right? And then turn to obviously the next side as well, right? That was the inspection, right? The examination now, where you will now go on to feel your breasts and examine it to find out if it is you are feeling anything abnormal. Starting with these 3 fingers, and there's 3 different ones that you could see on the screen. One is like was based on the compass: north, south, east, west, northeast, northwest, northeast, southwest, northwest, southeast, right? So you started in the center, and you're moving your hands up, down, left, right, and then the cardinal points, right? And then obviously to the next breast as well. The next one you're doing is you're using the hand of the side of the breast to hold it firm, using these 3 fingers again, and you're going up and down, starting from the middle of the chest, and you're moving this way. Up, down, going straight across to the next side, and again, same thing on this side, right? Starting from the middle of the chest, going to the side. And the other one is the circular motion. So you start in the middle, and you're going round in circles to the outer breast as well. And then again, on the other side. What this diagram doesn't show you is the under the arm examination, right? So you hand behind the head, right? And you're feeling, same 3 fingers, under the arm, right? And what you're looking for is any swelling, any lumps under the arm as well, right? Those are the lymph nodes. And sometimes that might be the first sign of breast cancer that you're seeing, those lymph nodes. Right, this diagram here will show you the under the arm. And what this diagram shows you is 2 very important things that is very simple to do. This person on the left is lying on her bed, and the one on the right is taking a shower. And that's how fast and quick these examinations and easy these examinations could be done. And very important. So we're just going to touch real quickly on how to diagnose breast cancer. Now, if it is that you are having signs and symptoms, this is where you go and get it investigated. So this is no longer screening, right? It's investigation, right? And what a doctor will do, he will take a detailed history, he will ask you a couple of questions, he will do an examination him or herself, and then he will get some imaging done, whether it be ultrasound, mammogram, or MRI, is based on what the doctor finds in the history and the examination, right? If there is something to biopsy, that's where you take a sample from the tissue itself and you send it to the lab and find out if that, let's say they find a lump, you have to take a sample of that lump, you send it to the lab will tell you if this is cancerous or is not cancerous, right? Finding a lump is not to be alarmed, because a lot of persons have what we refer to as lumpy breasts, but investigating the lump is what is important. If you do find one, it could very well be benign and nothing to worry about. How it is treated, again, so breast cancer is treated based on the stage. If you do develop breast cancer, what the doctor will do, he will try to define what stage of the breast cancer are you at. Everyone here has also heard stage 4, stage 3, stage 2, and that's what the doctor will do, right? Depending on the size of the lump, the size of the cancer, depending on the spread of the cancer, whether it's go to the lungs or and so forth, right? And that's, you stage the cancer, and then treatment is based on what stage you are at in the cancer, right? Some options that the doctors will use will be things like chemotherapy, radiation therapy, surgery. Surgery could be as simple as just taking out the lump, or double mastectomies and taking out both breasts, right? Immunotherapy, hormone therapy, and targeted drug therapy, right? And these things are based on the stage and based on the individual patient and how your conversation with the physician at that time. Right? And what palliative care is the last one. That's for persons who treatment will not make any more sense, and we just need to make you comfortable at the end of life. Right, so I work at a private medical institution, Trinity Medical Center, and I give this talk to our company, and that's why the slide is here. So essentially, how we can help, we do have a breast specialist working with us, and he's at our center. We can do the screening there. We have trained physicians who can do the examination if you think that you find something on your own. We can do the genetic counseling and screening, ultrasounds. If you do develop breast cancer, we do have psychologists there to help you with that emotional support. And if you do want to maintain your healthy weight and diet before, we do have a dietitian as well. Sitaram, thank you. I don't think we're going into...
So before Mitra takes his leave, we just invite 1 or 2 questions from persons who may have in the audience. I don't know if you have a cordless mic, do we? Yes? There's a cordless mic.
If you ask it, I will repeat it. If you
Yeah.
want to take it, ask it, I will repeat it. Yeah. So the question is the percentage of men, breast cancer in men. So I don't know the exact figures, but definitely the breast cancer in women is most common in Trinidad, right? Most common cancer in women in Trinidad is breast cancer. I don't know the percentages offhand. I could check it though. So the question is how to, if you do an examination yourself, you find a lump, how to determine if it's a lipoma or something benign versus breast cancer. And that's where we talk about investigation, right? Let me just go back to that slide. Right, so if you do find a lump and you want to find out what it is, you go to your physician, right? They will take a detailed history, they will do an examination themselves, they will find the lump, they will image the lump, whether it be ultrasound, mammogram, or MRI, and these imaging modalities will give you different perspectives of the lump, and they can also determine how suspicious the lump is based on the image of it. And the most important thing is that they will take a biopsy, right? So they will take a core needle biopsy, they will insert it into the lump, take a sample of it, they will send it to the pathology lab, and the lab looks at it under a microscope and say, okay, these cells look like fat, so it's not cancer. These cells look like normal breast tissue, so it's not cancer. Oh wait, these cells look like cancer, and they'll give you a report as such.
Thank you. Any other questions? Cordless mic, please.
Just a question to ask, is the lymph nodes the same as the milk ducts?
The milk ducts?
Yes, in terms of breastfeeding, is it the same passageways?
No,
it's not?
No, yeah. Those ducts that you refer to is what create breast milk? Yeah, no, it's different from lymph nodes, yeah.
Thank you. One final question from anyone? Going once, going twice. Amral has a question. Why is it that the men are asking more questions? You all in the minority, you know.
Sitaram,
Sitaram.
just for the sake of clarity, can you just review the process of how do you check for lumps or anything of that?
The self-exam?
Yeah, self-exam.
Okay, so we could go back through it one more time. Yes, yes. So the question Uncle Jamwat asked is if this examination is the same for men, and yes, it is the same examination for men. Right? Because the concept of the examination is the same, the movements is the same, you look for the same things, right? The size and amount of fatty tissue, etc., will obviously be different, but the examination is the same. The core concepts of the examination, right? So we'll go back through it one more time. Again, the first thing is inspection. You stand up topless in front of the mirror and you inspect, right? You're inspecting in various positions. First, hand at the side, then hands up, hands to the extended to the side as well, hands on the hip, and when the hands on the hip, you turn into the left, looking again, and then you turn into the right, looking again, right? And that's the inspection. The next part is to feel, to examine, to palpate, right? Using the 3 fingers, the second, third, and fourth fingers. And it's 3 different examinations that we generally recommend. So first you're starting at the nipple area, and you're going to the north, to the south, to the east, to the west, and then to the other cardinal points, which is the northeast, northwest, southwest, southeast, right? But you always go from the nipple to the area, back to the nipple, to the area, back to the nipple, to the area, back to the nipple. The second exam is the vertical strip. So essentially, all you're going is up and down. But you start in the middle of the chest, up, down, straight to the lateral side or the side of the breast, right? And again, everything you're doing it on the other side. And the third one is the clock pattern or the circular motion. So again, you started in the nipple area, and you're going in clockwise circles around and around and around to the outside of the breast. And the last part is examination of the lymph nodes, right? And again, it's under the arms, so hand behind the arm, and you're going under the arm here, feeling for any lumps and bumps. Yep. Good day, Amral.
Okay. So thank you very much, Dr. Mitra Maharaj. Please give him a round of applause.
Staram, thank you.
And again, once more, at the Mandir, we commit ourselves to our congregation, not only in spiritual matters, but also, as I mentioned, in secular matters as well. And this is a continuation of the education and awareness campaign that we feel is very much part of our responsibility to you, our wonderful devotees. And we now have the benefit not only of those persons who are here face to face, but also for those persons who are viewing us online. We normally would have gone into Arti at this point, but I note that the children are not here, so I would want to now invite our chairman to come to the podium for a moment. And this really speaks to a matter of public interest that was first brought to your attention last week, Sunday, prior to the commencement of our Diwali program. Many of you were here, and many more of you actually, a clip of that video was circulated on social media by an interested person, and then that was spread and shared by other interested persons. And I want to invite to the podium our chairman to speak for a few moments before we move into Arti and so on. Let us all join our palms in prayer as we commence. Hari Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityodma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Please welcome Mr. Malvi Maharaj.
Sitaram devotees. I just wanted to ask Mitra one question. Would yoga assist with issues of breast cancer? Put you on the spot there. Anyway, Sitaram devotees, my son will answer that at home. This week in particular has been an extremely tiring week for Pandit. And I told him this morning that before I invite him to the mic, I would like to formally, on behalf of the citizens of San Fernando, to kindly thank our Pandit for standing up for truth and justice. Because the prayer which he just recited asks us, as my brothers and I grew up looking at Gandhiji. My father was one of the followers in San Fernando of Gandhi, and we grew up understanding that truth will enlighten us. Truth is going to bring justice. And what we saw happening by the authorities is that a great injustice is going to befall the persons of San Fernando by their authoritarian action. And Pundit rightly interjected, and as of this morning, we can safely say that we have raised the awareness throughout Trinidad and Tobago, and we are on the way to taking this battle back to the authorities. When coming to injustice, there's a sister sitting right here right now that is also fighting her battle because of injustice that was done to her. Am I correct, sister? Sabita? Right. So, I, for one, grew up in the city, just behind the temple, and have interacted on many, many occasions with the officers who run the city. In the past, we have stood up. We have stood up for injustice in the past, and will continue. And when my brother came in the public domain to stand up, I was the first one to tell him, brother, we are going to take this battle to ensure that the citizens of San Fernando, long after we are gone, our grandchildren will be safe and secure in their interactions in the city. Now, how many members of management we have? Can you all stand, please? Right. Now, I am asking the management of the temple, via those who are present, to give us the permission, to take the action that we have to take. Can I see a hand of support, please? So what we are seeing that unanimously, the temple has now officially sanctioned the actions that will then go in the public domain as of early as next week. Take a seat, thank you. Now, there are so many issues. We were accused this week of not supporting the mayor's office in his actions. And I told him, Mr. Mayor, you have our support when you do good things. Right? If you do good things, we will support you. But you don't consult with us. As one of the major stakeholders in San Fernando, you do not consult with us. And if you consult with us, we will make it clear to you that we want two things immediately. We want Todd Street to be named after Krishna. Do you all support Krishna Street, San Fernando? And we want Grand Saul Street to be named after Lionel Jagger. Would you all support that? So if it is you are the mayor coming to accuse us of not giving you support in what you do, by all means, fine, engage the stakeholders. You know where you can find me every Sunday morning. You know where you can find Pundit. Pundit office is 2 blocks from the mayor's office. So if it is that you going to create action that are going to interrupt the lives of our stakeholders, Pundit is rightly, by all means, take action against you. So can we now stand? Can we all stand, please? And I'd like to invite Pundit to now take the mic to address you with a round of applause. Now, before you do so, members of management will be circulating these petitions. These petitions have gone online And so far, we have about, I think before I came to temple, we were about 3,500 signatories. And it started yesterday at around 9 a.m., son. So within one day, we were able to convert and convince 3,500 persons online. Now, these petitions have gone out to all the schools. They are circulating within the community here. And we are asking for your support at the temple. So can I ask Mr. Gangadine and probably Roger to come forward? Thank you. Pandit, is all yours.
Thank you very much, my brother. Please sit, everyone. Please be seated. I want to repeat what I said last week. I am not a politician. I have no aspirations for public office. I do not belong to a political party. So let me just get that very clearly out there. Why do I want to speak with you, my brothers and sisters, this morning? Because I believe very firmly in accountability, and I believe very firmly in transparency. And last week, Sunday, in a very unprepared, but in a very passionate manner, I must admit, I did speak with you about an issue that came up and was brought to my attention only a couple days before Sunday, that is on Friday. And I shared with you my thoughts on that issue. And as I said, that video clipping of that discussion went, as the young people would say, viral. And as a result of that, from the day after Diwali, we were getting many, many calls. So after Sunday was Diwali day on Monday, and we were here performing Lakshmi Mata Puja. And then what I thought would have been a return to some level of normalcy on Tuesday turned to something completely different. Many people from all walks of life started contacting and starting clamoring. And what I thought last week Sunday was an issue that was near and dear to us here at the Mandir turned out to be much, much more than that. And so it became a swell of the schools, of the parents, of the PTAs, of all of the 7 schools in this area, of the residents in this area and of the business persons in this area, all who were saying, we like what you said and we supported you. So being a person who believes in consultation, we decided to have that consultation of those persons who are stakeholders in this community. And that was held, thanks to the organizers, my brother and others, on Wednesday evening. And we had, and it was reported in the newspapers, 100 persons here. I didn't check. But it included all of the stakeholders, and it included as well our police authorities, who were very interested as well in terms of what we had to say, and who came properly directed and taking copious notes, and who themselves were nodding in agreement with our suggestions, with our submissions, and indeed with our objections. So even if they came without a view, I am certain when they left that meeting, they did have a view, and it was a view in support of what we were saying. After that, and even before that, once the video went viral, I was contacted by the mayor's office. I was contacted by the Honorable MP, amongst others. They wanted to speak with me. And I thought, well, who am I? I am just one voice in the wilderness. So I thought it fit to defer that meeting until after we got the views of the stakeholders, so that it could be determined whether it was one voice in the wilderness or whether it was a collective voice of all persons. And after Wednesday, it was very clear to us that it was the collective voice. And at that meeting, all of the voices decided to come together as the concerned citizens for a better San Fernando. And that's what we are calling ourselves now. The concerned citizens for a better San Fernando. And I want to say it to all of you, because not everybody here is from San Fernando. Many of you come to this Mandir. You are the Mandir family, but you reside elsewhere. And I would say to you that you should form concerned citizens for your various areas as well. Spearhead that drive. Let us have concerned citizens for Pinal. Let us have concerned citizens for Laventille. Let us have concerned citizens for Sandy Grande, for Toco, for Mayaro, for Princestown, for Tobago, for Plymouth, for Black Rock. Let us all in this country recognize that we are all and will always be concerned citizens, not political creatures. That's not what we are. And so we met with the Honorable MP on Thursday night. And the Honorable MP was my friend. I went to secondary school with him. I went to university with him. I've known him throughout his practice. He's my friend. So I met with him as my friend, and as more than that, the MP. And with him was the Honorable, His Worship the Mayor of San Fernando, a man who I respect because he's on the ground. Walk around anywhere you see Mayor Regrello on the ground walking around doing things. The Deputy Mayor also came. The MP's assistant came. And there were 3 other persons whose names I don't recall who were also there, part of their team. Large, very powerful team. It was just myself, our chairman, and one of the members of the core group. You heard him this morning, Dr. Maraj. And our mood was really to listen to what the MP had to say about our concerns, because there was no consultation. There is no consultation. And there were many things that the MP said to us, lots and lots of things about San Fernando and his vision for the development of San Fernando, and 40 years, nothing happened in San Fernando. And I'm thinking, well, SAPA built, the hospital built, there's a new police building, there's a new court, and in 40 years, nothing happened in San Fernando. Well, I must not be living in San Fernando, right? But we want more things in San Fernando, and I agree with him. I agree with him, but don't tell me nothing happened in San Fernando. This Mandir was built in 1987 to replace the old one. Things happening in San Fernando. So he's there telling us and talking, and you know, I really like to just get straight to the point. Honorable MP, can you give us the undertaking that no housing will be built there? No, I can't give you that undertaking, was his response. And for me, that was the end of my attention span at that meeting. But the talk went on, and talk. But in that one pointed question, which is our concern, can you tell me that no housing will be going on Todd Street? His answer was unequivocally, no, I cannot tell you that. Now, that decision by the MP, which has been translated, as we've come to learn, to a decision by cabinet taken in September to vest that parcel of land in the HDC, a decision that has already been taken. Taken already, yeah? Not going to be taken, it's taken. Now, my layperson understanding of when a cabinet note is going to be accepted by cabinet, it must be on the basis of consultation. It must be on the basis of data. It must be on the basis of need. It must be on the basis of agreement by the key stakeholders before the Honorable Cabinet of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago could take a decision and say, yes, we're going ahead. No consultation. Major objection from all of the stakeholders. The Ministry of Planning and Development, Town and Country Planning Division, has a document dated April of this year, which says and reiterates that is an area zoned not for residential development. Unequivocally, that is an area not zoned for residential development. The Ministry of Education, because those 2 schools there are in dire need of repair, the Ministry of Education also has a document unequivocally saying we do not support housing there. So it's not Pandit Rudy alone saying it. They're saying it as well. And in the face of that, you have an honorable cabinet being presented with a note and taking a decision that we're going to put housing there. Now I ask myself the question, why does a little place like Todd Street in San Fernando matter? Why does a little person like Rudranath Maharaj matter? Why did this video gain so much public support? Like I said, I am no politician. I have no aspirations to hold political office. None. So why did that gain support? So I was speaking with my wife, because that's what I do as a husband. I speak to my wife. And I said, you know, darling, I think that the reason that that video has gained support is because it is a symptom of what has been going on and what is going on in this country, government after government, and affecting us, the people. She said, what do you mean by that? I say, we the people are always treated as doormats, to be used and abused at the convenience of those in authority for far too often. Why is it then that in the midst of flooding throughout the country, in the midst of crime throughout the country, in the midst of hopelessness and helplessness in our economy, in the midst of falling institutions, why is it a little place like Todd Street, a little issue like that in the grand scheme of things, has attracted so much attention and so much support? It is because it reflects a feeling of this society. It reflects the symptom of what has been going on and continues to go on in this beloved country of ours. And that's why persons are inclined to support this movement. And that's why I'm making the appeal. Don't confine our attention to Todd Street alone, but look bigger. Because the problem we are facing here with that symptom is endemic of a far greater problem, and that is lack of respect, lack of consultation, and total disregard for your citizens. That is what we are experiencing in everything. It is more the rule than the exception. Am I right? Am I right? So that is the decision we've taken. So we've asked the MP, come out and say publicly that that's not going to happen, because you told us in the meeting one thing, you told us, no, it's happening. And the words of assurance he gave us at that meeting, it was almost verbatim the release that came out from the HDC that very night while that meeting was going on. So while that meeting was going on, some hard-working members of the HDC after 7 o'clock in the night was preparing that media release to send out, and the words were almost identical to what we were told by the Honorable MP. I scratch my head, boy. I say these people must have ESP. They know what each other thinking. So you know what? We are not stopping. We are not backing down on this issue. And we have the support of all of the stakeholders in this area unequivocally. Even those who, because of their position, cannot speak, we are prepared to speak for them as the concerned citizens for a better San Fernando. So we have promised dialogue. So I've written to the Minister of Planning. We want a meeting, Madam Minister. I know that Minister is a fair-minded person. I've written to the Minister of Housing. We want a meeting, Madam Minister, because I know the Minister is a fair-minded person. Let us hear why our objection should not be heard. Why is it you want to put houses there surrounded by schools on a parcel of land that 1950 earmarked for a technical school and a primary school, and that has now evolved into 2 secondary schools and surrounded by other secondary schools? And that narrow corridor that could be used to benefit those schools, you're not even prepared to hear. You're not prepared to hear. One of the principals gave a very wonderful suggestion. He said, why don't we make that into an eco park for the benefit of 2 schools? And that is a magnificent suggestion. Because we talk about the need for green spaces. You know what? We talk about going for developed country status. And in every developed country in urban centers, they tell you green spaces are the things to preserve. So we want to be first world, but we're not acting like first world. We talk in every forum internationally, but we want to reduce the carbon footprint. We want to do that because it will impact upon global warming and climate change. But instead, we want to destroy that green space and we want to put up a concrete jungle there. So you tell me, where's the rationale and reasoning that substantiates that decision in the face of all of the proper and practical things? Not only that, as I pointed out about Carlton Place that is empty, they're begging people to buy it. You have housing there. You have housing planned down on the waterfront. No problem there, you're planning that properly. You have a whole set of housing in Union Hall that is incomplete and not occupied. Why not use there? Why are you coming to put something in the last remaining green space in San Fernando? You tell me that. Where is the reason? Where's the rationale? Instead, you're talking about infrastructure. Oh, we're going to dig up the road and we're going to put proper water and we're going to put proper sewage and all the rest of it. That's great. We need that. We do not need housing there, but we need the other things, most definitely. But I am not stupid. None of us here are stupid. So we prepared to dialogue, but we're not stopping there, you know. Because the dialogue, if it is not working, we know what we have to do. And the petition that is being circulated is to continue the awareness and to show the authorities that as of within one day, 3,500 people sign. In 1 week, watch and see where that number going. This is the voice of the people. And as politicians, you like to say the voice of people is the voice of God. Well, this is what it is. Gandhi said, what we do in the present will determine our future. And I tell you, what we are doing here today, I want you young people to know, it's not for me. It's not for Maldeo. It's not for the adults here. It is for you. I want you all to remember this day and this moment very clearly, because you are the future of this country. And know that you have the power, and you know that you stand for the truth, and you know that you stand for what is right. And be prepared as citizens of the future to make that difference, not upon tribalism, but about what is right in this country. And what they are doing there, or propose to do there, is not right. However they want to spin it, as politicians do. So we are prepared, and I must give thanks to my colleagues. We have assembled a team of not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, but 7 lawyers, led by an eminent senior counsel to take on that matter, and they are supported by a firm of lawyers. And no member of that team is an active politician. I can tell you that. They are all independent, and they're all prepared to stand up like me, like us, for what is right. And they're all doing it free. That is the support. So many of you have been asking me, Pandit, let's go protest. I have no problem with that. But that time will come. I believe in discipline. And we are doing this in a disciplined way. We have not asked, and somebody sent me a message, oh, you know the online petition asking for money. I'm saying unequivocally, we don't want a red cent from anybody. We do not want a cent, because this is people power. What we are giving of our own time, our own energy, our own expertise. By the grace of God, that energy has been given to us, and we're using it for that purpose. We are the instruments of a higher power. So don't anybody give a cent to anybody for anything, because we don't need it. Everything is pro bono. We want your support, we want your voice, we want your reason. That is what we want. We want you to stand up, finally, as a united voice and a united people, saying, enough is enough. You cannot treat us like this as citizens of this country. And I am calling on the Prime Minister of this country, the Honorable Keith Rowley, to have a conversation with those persons who brought that cabinet note and find out what really is happening in this country and what is happening on Todd Street. I call upon the Prime Minister to find that out. And if you are the Prime Minister of the people, Honorable Prime Minister, then you will have no difficulty in rescinding that cabinet note and saying, we made a mistake, we were misled, we're sorry, and we will accept that. And then we can say, you are a Prime Minister we can trust. You are a Prime Minister we could respect. So do that for us, and you have my support. Don't do that. And the journey of 1,000 miles begins with this single step. Brothers and sisters, this is my report to you at this point. This is what we are doing. This is what we're about, and we're not doing it alone. We're doing it with the full support of all of the stakeholders in this area. I want to thank you for your attention. I want to thank you for your encouragement. I want to thank you for your prayers. All of you who are viewing us online as well, please continue to spread that message. Please continue to do all of the good and noble things that you are doing. And please continue to be the pillars for justice, integrity, and truth in this country that we so sorely need. Thank you, everyone.
Sitaram again. I think we can do better for Pandit Rudy. Now, what was circulated this morning is this petition. You may take it home, allow all your family members to sign it, please. Also, return it back to the temple. Now, members may say that they already signed it online. You can still sign the physical copy, which goes into our records, because as Pandit Rudy rightly said, we have engaged 7 attorneys, and this is the evidence that San Fernando truly objects to that project. Okay? So anyone wants any clarification on where this is going, you can see me after or ask Pandit Rudy. Okay? Thank you.
So I do apologize for the intrusion on the sanctity of your Sunday morning. I've said enough. I will now invite you to come perform your arti and to make your offerings. I will hand back over to the members of the group. For the next 10 minutes or so, we will have bhajans, and we will conclude at 10. Please, as you come up, sanitize your hands. There's no need for gloves, and perform your arti. You can go to the murtis of your choice. Instead of having one long line, please use your discretion in going to the various murtis so that we can accommodate the arti period in as quick a period as possible. Jai Sitaram, everyone. We will have the announcements with respect to Kartik when we finish with Arti.
Jai Shiva, Jai Shiva, Jai Shiva, Jai Shiva, Shiva, Jai Jai Shiva. Jai Shiva, Jai Shiva, Jai Shiva.
Jai Shiva, Jai Shiva, Jai Shiva.
Jai Shiva, Jai Shiva, Jai Shiva.
Jai Shiva, Jai Shiva, Jai Shiva.
Jai Shiva, Shiva, Jai Jai Shiva.
Jai Jai Shiva.
Jai Shiva, Shankar Gauri Nath, Parvati Pati Bhole Nath.
Jai Shiva Shankar Gauri Nath, Parvati Pati Bhole Nath.
तुझसे व्यापक जल तल व्योम,
तुझसे व्यापक जल तल व्योम.
जय शिव शिव जय जय शिव,
जय शिव शिव जय
पति भव भय भंजक मायती
गिरिजापति कैलाशपति भव भय भंजक महायति
तेरे गुण गाता हर रोम
तेरे गुण गाता हर रोम
जय शिव शिव जय जय शिव
जय शिव शिव जय जय शिव
जय गिंगेश उमेश महेश विनती करी भक्त आदेश
जय गंगेश उमेश महेश विनती कर भक्त आदेश
हो ना कभी ननाद बिलो
हो ना कभी ननाद बिलो
जय शिव शिव जय जय शिव
जय शिव शिव जय जय शिव
जय शिव जय शिव जय शिव
जय शिव जय शिव जय शिव
जय शिव शिव जय 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 जय शिव
प्रसन्नं वदनं ध्याये सर्वविघ्नोपशान्ते
मुरलिया बाजे रे जमुना के तीर,
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 जमुना के तीर हो 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 जमुना के तीर, मुरलिया बाजे रे जमुना के तीर, मुरलिया बाजे रे जमुना के तीर,
मुरली की धुन मेरो मन हर लीनो, मुरली की धुन मेरो मन हर लीनो, चित धरत नहीं धीर, चित धरत नहीं धीर, मुरलिया बाजे रे जमुना के तीर,
मुरलिया बाजे रे जमुना के तीर,
कारो कन्हैया कारी कमरिया, कारो कन्हैया कारी कमरिया, कारो जमुना को नीर,
कारो जमुना को नीर, मुरलिया बाजे रे जमुना के तीर, मुरलिया बाजे रे जमुना के तीर,
मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नागर, मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नागर, चरण कमल पर सिर, चरण कमल पर सिर,
मुरलिया बाजे रे जमुना के तीर, मुरलिया बाजे रे जमुना के तीर,
जमुना के तीर हो 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 जमुना के तीर, मुरलिया बाजे रे जमुना के तीर, मुरलिया बाजे रे जमुना के तीर,
मुरलिया बाजे रे जमुना के तीर।
I'll ask that we have one more bhajan, if possible, and then we will have announcements by Vishnu.
सत्यनारायण गोविंद माधवा, हरि नारायण गोविंद केशवा, 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 सत्यनारायण गोविंद सत्यनारायण गोविंद माधवा हरि नारायण गोविंद केशवा सत्यनारायण गोविंद माधवा हरि नारायण गोविंद केशवा हरे रामा हरे रामा हरे रामा हरे हरे
रामा हरे रामा हरे रामा हरे हरे
हरे रामा हरे रामा हरे रामा हरे हरे
हरे रामा हरे रामा हरे रामा हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे
सत्यनारायण गोविंद माधवा हरि नारायण गोविंद केशवा
सत्यनारायण गोविंद माधवा हरि नारायण गोविंद केशवा
सत्यनारायण गोविंद माधवा हरि नारायण गोविंद केशवा सत्यनारायण गोविंद माधवा हरि नारायण गोविंद केशवा हरि नारायण गोविंद केशवा हरि नारायण गोविंद केशवा
Prem Swali Shri Bindraban Bihari Lal ki Jai. I'll invite Vishnu to the podium. Please give him your attention undividedly, please. A lot of important information about Kartik celebrations next weekend.
Sitaram dear devotees, thank you very much, Pandit. Once again, we are very happy to see so many of you all here this morning. We made a special plea for you all to come out, and you all did. And thanks for your wonderful support in our venture that Pandit spoke about. All right, so normal announcements. We welcome donations for the Mandir. You know, these help us to upkeep the Mandir. So anyone who's willing to give us some donations after the service, you can see us at the back. The members of management will be at the back to accept your donations. For anyone celebrating their birthday or anniversaries in this week gone or week coming, on behalf of the Mandir, we'd like to extend happy birthday and congratulations on your whatever you want to celebrate, all right? This Sunday coming, you know, it's Kartik Snan, it's a whole month, but the Mandir is, we're not going to have any formal service here on Sunday morning. We are all going to Mayaro with the thanks for the blessings of Tara Bhagwat and her family. She has donated a house where we'll be going to have puja on Sunday morning. So devotees who would like to go to the Kartik, we are arranging a maxi. The maxi will be at the Mandir here for 7 o'clock in the morning. It's just $60. So if you'd like to park your car here and go with the maxi, let us know, see me or Gangadine after the service, and we will take your names and we'll proceed to Mayaro. If you'd like to drive, however, you're also welcome to join us at Mayaro. We have directions for the house, and we're going to have a wonderful Sunday morning service and Kartik at the Mayaro beach. You know, we did it in 2019. Because of COVID, we had, 2020, 2021, we had no Kartik Snan Puja. So we'd like to welcome all of you to join us. And, you know, we need your prayer and we need blessings of God and Satnarayan Swami and everybody in our venture that we are in right now. You all heard Pandit spoke about it. So we'd like you to come to the beach with us as a Mandir family and let us pray together. We have a list of all the materials if you want to do your individual puja on the beach itself. Accommodations will be made for you. The list is out there on the network, and we have WhatsApp and YouTube, all right? So bring all the ingredients And you could come to the beach. We'll have a place for you to do your puja. We'll have the main shrota where Pandit will be offering the puja as usual. And then the other devotees you can follow on with all your ingredients. And then we go down to the sea to make our offerings. So I have been there, and it was wonderful, very experience, a family experience. So please join us Sunday morning, and let everyone know that we will not be having service at the Mandir. We'll be moving to Mayaro, all right? So take these notes, and as we go along, you'll get more details about the other ventures that we are on. And we'd like to thank you all very much this morning, and hope you have a wonderful and safe week. And I want to hand over back to the group, so we'll have RG. Any other? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, and I forgot to thank Dr. Mitra. Please, let's give him a wonderful round of applause. I was looking for him sitting there, but he shifted a little bit. Mitra has grown up in the Mandir, and he makes us so proud that one of our little boys from the Mandir could come and lecture to us on a topic as important as breast cancer. And we have our next young... Okay, and we have a wonderful, handsome young man who's sitting just close to me here. And I was saying happy birthday to all the people celebrating. So let's wish Ashtak a very happy birthday. Looking very handsome indeed. And good health and God's blessings. I know your heart is in the right place, and we all love you and enjoy a happy birthday. So thank you all again, and I'll hand you over to Pandit.
And sharing Ashtak's birthday, an equally beautiful young lady, Auntie Vayu, is celebrating her birthday on the 4th of November as well. So we extend birthday greetings to her. And I want to make a final appeal. Please heed all of the information provided by Vishnu and Karthik, but also those of you who may still have outstanding money for our takeaway breakfast, we please need you to return those monies as quickly as you can so that we could do the final accounting. I'm seeing Vishnu is remembering another thing he needs to say. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, it was a very proud moment for Mandir this week also. I don't know if you all were looking on, but we have a young man who has gotten his first class honors at UE in his BSc degree, Dariel Ramarat. Please stand, Dariel. Although he's my nephew, he's a very nice boy, and he grew up in the Mandir, and he made us very, very proud indeed. Pandit, thank you.
So we all stand. Also, we want to extend a warm welcome back to our family member, Mrs. Amelia Kalpi, who is with us back from abroad, and she started to perform puja this morning. So please give Amelia a round of applause. We stand for Arti Bhajan and then closing prayer.
Jai Jagdish Hare Swami Jai Jagdish Hare Bhakt Jano ke sangat Sant Jano ke sangat Chan mein dur kare Om Jai Jagdish Hare Jagdish Hare
Swami Jai Jagdish Hare Bhakt Jano ke sangat Das Jano ke sangat Chhan mein dur kare Om Jai Jagdish Hare
जो जावे फल पावे दुख बिन से मन का
स्वामी दुख बिन से मन का
सुख संपत्ति घर आवे
सुख संपत्ति घर आवे
कष्ट मिटे तन का
ओम जय जगदीश हरे
मात पिता तुम मेरे शरण गहो किसकी
स्वामी शरण गहो किसकी
तुम बिन और न दूजा
तुम बिन और न दूजा
आश करो जिसकी
ओम जय जगदीश हरे
दीन बंधु दुख हरता तुम रक्षक मेरे
स्वामी तुम रक्षक मेरे
करुणा पराते रे
ॐ जय जगदीश हरे
विषय विकार मिटाओ पाप हरो देवा
स्वामी पाप हरो देवा
श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ
श्रद्धा प्रेम बढ़ाओ
संतन की सेवा
ॐ जय जगदीश हरे
जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे भक्त जनों के संकट भक्त जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे
Hari Om. As we clasp our hands and close our eyes and bow our heads in prayer, we surrender ourselves completely to the divine. O Prabhu, you are mother and father, you are family, you are friend, you are knowledge, you are wealth, you are everything to us. This morning, as we've come before you in complete surrender, we beg for your mercy, your guidance, and your inspiration. We ask that whatever difficulties, whatever obstacles are in front of us, that you bless us to overcome those difficulties and those obstacles. We pray not only for ourselves and our family, but we pray for all persons who are affected this morning and in the ensuing days by flood and by difficulty, by landslides and various types of calamities that have befallen them. We pray for persons who are ill, persons who have lost their loved ones, persons who are ailing in some way. We ask you, Prabhu, in all of your mercy to bless us all. For you are mother, you are father, you are family, you are friend, you are knowledge, you are wealth, you are everything to us. We surrender ourselves completely. We join in one voice as we close in prayer. Hari Om. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Cha Seka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Asato Ma Sargamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, आज शक्ति जगदम्बा देवी मैया की जय, श्री पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय। प्रेम से बोले श्री सच्चे सनातन धर्म की जय, श्री सच्चे सनातन धर्म की, श्री सच्चे सनातन धर्म की जय। Turn to those around you. Sab koi Jai Sitaram, Jai Sitaram, Jai Sitaram. Have a very powerful week ahead, very productive week ahead. Please continue to support us and join us. And we look forward to seeing you all with us next Sunday. For those of you who can, please join us at Mayara Beach as we engage in puja on the occasion of Kartik Snan. Jai Sitaram all.